Hi, good morning. This is Natalie with Imago Day Yoga. On Saturdays, I do live classes for beginners, and this month I've been focusing on inversion. We did inversions last week for the first time where we practiced safety. So we'll review that a little bit as we get into it today, but we're going to kind of blend it a little bit more into our flow, kind of focus more on the inversion part, maybe staying upside down a little bit longer, but then also counterbalancing that by coming upright, okay? So I won't leave you upside down the whole time. All right, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back to the mat. We'll start seated. And while we settle in, if you end up liking this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. That helps me out a lot, so please consider that at the end of this video. So go ahead and close your eyes down. We're going to start with some breathing. Take a slow, deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it out. Another big inhale breath. Take your time with it. Exhale, release. Then inhale, bring the arms up. Just get a nice big stretch. And we're just going to fold over the legs for a second. Take an inhale in. Exhale, let it go. And go ahead and bring yourself up. And we'll switch over into tabletop as we continue our warm-up. Arms under your shoulders, knees under hips. You're going to inhale to drop that stomach, pushing down, and then lift the chest, look up. And then as you exhale, arch the back, pulling the pelvis in and looking back toward your thighs. Do that again. Inhale, drop that stomach, lift that chest, look up. Exhale, arch the back. Nice big cat stretch. And then we're going to come to a neutral spine and sink down into a child's pose. So big toes go together, knees stay wide, and then you push the hips back toward the heels. Try to sit on them. If you can't, that's okay. Just get as close as you can. And then sink the body down between the knees as low as you can. And try to relax. Take a few breaths. Bringing the air in, try to take it deep. Try to take it down into the stomach, lower back, and then exhale it out. One more time, big breath. And release. All right, start to press into the mat. We're going to shift forward into our plank. And you can choose how you want to do your plank. If you want to stay down on your knees, you can. Otherwise, try to come up into a full straight arm plank. And then push the hips up and back for a downward facing dog, our first inversion. And then while we're coming in here, first focus on the form, pushing those hips up and back, pulling the chest toward the thighs. Neck is loose. Maybe shake it no or nod it yes, making sure there's no tension there. And then we're going to hold it for a few breaths. In a lot of yoga practice, hold this for up to 5 very slow breaths, so it can feel like a long time. And so kind of reviewing the safety from last week, if you start to feel lightheaded, too much blood rushing to the head, all you have to do is drop down to your knees and come back into that tabletop. Let the blood flow, relax, and then you can return into your downward dog if that's where they're still at in your class, and keep breathing. All right, then go ahead and bend those knees. We're going to look forward and we're going to step forward into our forward fold. And remember to keep the knees slightly bent so that you have the stomach connected to the thigh. Inhale to come up halfway, equalizing that blood pressure. Just tabletop, and then exhale it down. Inhale, reach it up. Nice big stretch. Reach up tall, palms together and down to heart center as we come to be upright for a few breaths. So press down firmly into the mat, and as you inhale, visualize lifting up through the entire body, through the thighs, the pelvis, rib cage, everything lifting up. Shoulders, though, relaxing down and back. Neck still at neutral. Again, take another big inhale, reach the whole body. One more time, big breath. And release. All right, now we're going to focus on the inversion, which we've already touched on. Inhale it up, exhale, our forward fold. So just like practicing last week, if you were here, if you need to come up for a break in a forward fold, you just inhale it up and come up to half lift. This allows the blood flow to kind of equalize out a little bit, and then you can take it back down. We're going to try to hold this for a couple breaths. So keep those knees bent. Stomach connection to the thighs is really important. Neck being loose is also important. Those are some joints there you don't want to strain. Keep breathing. Take one more big breath in this inversion. Then inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. Inhale, raise it up, get your stretch. And then we're going to exhale all the way back down to the ground, planting those hands and stepping it into your plank pose. And then lowering it down, chaturanga, elbows pinched in toward the, push it up for that upward facing dog, getting a back bend. And then exhale it back for your downward facing dog, hips going up and back, coming back down into this inversion. So we're going to hold this for several breaths, practicing being upside down, and you practicing any safety measures you need to. So if you need to come down to the knees at any point to relax that blood flow, go right ahead. And again, why inversions are so important. It helps strengthen our blood flow because we're changing how the blood pumps through the body, which is why when you first get into inversions, you feel a lot of pressure coming into the head from the blood. But the more you do it, the stronger your body gets at pumping that blood, and you don't have to worry about feeling dizzy as often or the pressure in your head. But just keep breathing. Again, coming in onto your knees if you need to. We're about to change up into that forward fold. So come into the down dog. If you went down to your knees, take a breath. And then as you exhale, start to step forward into your forward fold. And then come up into that half lift. We'll pause here for just a moment, letting the blood flow equalize. And then exhale it down. Inhale, reach it up. Get your stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. We'll be upright for a few breaths. So force those feet down into the earth. Lift up through the entire body with your inhale. And release it out. Keep breathing. Another big breath. And exhale. All right, next inhale, bring those arms up. And we won't stop in our forward fold this time. We'll just go ahead and plant the hands and step it into plank. Again, your version of plank can be on the knees, that's fine. And then wherever you're at, chaturanga, lowering it down. Inhale it up into that upward facing dog. And then exhale it back, downward facing dog. We'll be here for a few breaths. And again, also another reminder is that the reason inversions are important is also to help the subconscious get a little bit braver to move forward into poses. I'm going to start helping us practice brand new inversions next week. I'm really excited about that. But in order to do that, you got to be upside down. So that's why we're going to take some extra time today being inverted. Keep breathing. And coming down to the knees whenever you need to take a break. It's all about paying attention to the body and challenging yourself at the same time. All right, we're about to come back into our forward fold. So take another deep breath. Exhale it out. And start to bend those knees. Look forward, step forward into your forward fold. Come up into that half lift. Exhale down. Then inhale it all the way up. Get your stretch, palms together, down to heart center. We'll stay upright for a second, take a breath. And exhale it out. One more time, big breath, reaching up with the entire body. And let it out. All right, just so you know, we're gonna do 2 more down dogs in total. So take those arms up again. Exhale it all the way down. You're gonna step back into your plank. Lower it down, chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing. And then exhale it back, downward facing. Breathe. We won't hold it as long this time, but just try to embrace that challenge, but also coming down to the knees whenever you need to. Don't push it too far, just breathe and listen to your body. And also make sure you check in on the pose. You want to make sure you still have that lift up and back, still no tension in the neck, chest, still reaching for the thighs. Fingers spread wide. Keep breathing. All right, now we're going to come in to warrior 1 on the right side. So if you came down to your knees, come back up. And then before we step out with the right foot, you're going to move the left foot first. If you remember that from any previous lessons, you're going to step that left foot up and set it down at a slight angle, just barely just stepping it in, just a little half step. And then now, once it's planted, then you're going to move the right leg up, not too far, maybe about midway on the mat, on the opposite edge of the mat. You want your stance to start off nice and short, and then you're going to inhale up very slowly because you've been upside down. So take your time bringing your body up with that inhale breath. All right. Now step it out a little bit as we're coming up and bring those arms up. Now I said counter pose is in the description, and coming upright is our counter pose. But also another thing we want is back bends versus coming forward and rolling down. So right now, warrior one is actually a back bend. You might see the curve in my back, and depending on your stance, you might have a nice big curve too. Make sure the hips are squared forward to the front of the mat. You can adjust your stance as needed. And then we're going to fold forward to come out of this bend. You can bring your arms back behind you, or you can keep them in front as you roll forward. Just take a second, let the neck be loose. And then inhale it up halfway and bring the back foot up to meet the front, forward fold. We're still reversing that back bend. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, bring it up. Reach up, palms together, and down to heart center. Awesome. Take a couple breaths in your mountain pose. Reaching up with your breath. Exhaling, pushing down. One more time, big breath. Release. Next inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, bring it down and step it into your plank. Then lower it down, chaturanga. Inhale it up for that upward facing dog. Notice how this is also a back bend. And then exhale it back, downward facing dog. Pose and counter pose. This is relaxing that back bend that we just did. This is actually a great pose for lower back problems in general. So keep breathing. Again, not here as long as before, but still enough to challenge us in being upside down. Keep breathing. One more big breath, and then we're going to start working on getting into our warrior two left side. So before we move the left foot, we're going to move the right foot up just a little half step, putting it down at the heel, heel and toes both touching the mat, and then stepping the left foot up to the opposite edge of the mat, just about halfway. Nice short stance, and then slowly taking an inhale up. Going slow so you don't get dizzy. Bringing those arms up with you, and then your stance as you need to, still making sure the hips are squared to the front. If you have plenty of flexibility in the hips, or depending on how your joints are, you might actually have a nice wide stance, but that's not how my body works. So it's a good short stance for me. And again, coming into that back bend, feeling the arch in the back, reaching up. Keep breathing. Nice big breath. One more big inhale. And exhale, we're going to start to come forward. And again, you can keep your arms out in front of you as you come down, or reach them back for a little bit of extra stretch. Maybe even grab the hands. That's optional. Keep breathing. And then you're going to step the back foot up to meet the front for a forward fold. Still in that inversion, undoing the back bend. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. Then inhale, reach it up. Get your stretch, palms together, down to heart center. All right, you've done awesome. Now let's focus on just standing. Nice big inhale, reaching up, feeling our posture, feeling the rib cage, exhaling it out. One more just like that, big breath. And exhale it out. And then we're gonna have a seat into our chair, lift the arms up, bend the knees, keep the chest lifted. We're gonna hold this for a few breaths. Want to check in on that tailbone. You're not pushing that booty out too far. Try to tuck it in a little bit. It's a different kind of sit. Keep breathing. All right, go ahead and lift it up. Push those hips forward. Lift the chest, back bend. This is another way to undo our seat, because in that sit, we're still putting a lot of focus on this area the glutes, the thighs. And when we forward fold, especially when we bend the knees, we're able to stretch that area out. All right, go ahead and inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Then inhale, lift it up again. Coming back into our mountain pose, palms together, down to heart center. We're going to do one more forward fold. Well, we'll do more than one more forward fold, but we're going to do something a little bit different. Go ahead and lift up on the right leg and just kind of, or left leg for me, and then pull it out so that you're standing long ways on your mat. Feet are parallel. You can bend the knees a little bit if you want to, just a little. Then inhale it up. You're going to push those hips forward, lift the chest, feel that back bend, and then we're going to undo it. Exhale, coming forward. Reaching the crown of the head toward the ground. You can put your hands down to help balance you. Crown of the head needs to be reaching for the floor. In fact, if you can reach the crown of the head all the way down to the ground, even better. I myself am not quite there. Just getting a stretch. And again, a gentle bend in the knees is good. You don't want to hyperextend unless that feels really good. Sometimes it does feel good to get that stretch on the hamstrings, but don't overdo it. Don't overstretch them. And just breathe. Again, you can still come up for that half lift in this wide-legged forward fold. And then bring it back down anytime you need to equalize that blood pressure. Keep breathing. All right, go ahead and come up halfway if you haven't already. Bring it back down. Inhale, lift it up. Now we're undoing our forward fold, undoing the inversion by coming upright. Push those hips out, lift the chest, get that back bend again. Then exhale, bring it back down. You'll bring your foot back up to meet the front in your forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, raise it up. Get your stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. And then we're going to slowly sink to toe stand, or at least attempt to. All you got to do that is come up on your toes and try to sink down to your heels. If you don't quite make it, that's fine. You'll get a little thigh work if you hold it. But if you can, try to bring yourself all the way down to your heels. And then if you fall down, we're about to come down to. And then go ahead and come on down. If you haven't already, bring the soles of your feet together. We'll inhale up to straighten the back. Exhale, forward fold it for just a few breaths. Got the easy inversions to do now. Ones that don't get the blood rush into your head. Keep breathing though. All right, bring yourself up, knees together, push those feet out in front of you. Adjust so that you're on the top of your sits bones and inhale the arms up again. Exhale, fold it forward. And just a note, if you don't want to be in an inversion when you do a forward fold, you can always do a seated forward fold, which is what this is. But still, same idea. Make sure you bend the knees if you're not super flexible in the hamstrings, because you want that stretch to feel gentle. And bending the knees helps give you a little different stretch on the back. All right, go ahead and bring yourself up. And take your arms out in front of you. We're going to lay down slowly. Try to activate that core as we go down. I keep threatening to give us more core work. I will eventually. And then go ahead and lay all the way back down. Get a nice big stretch. Stretch it all out. And then relax onto the mat. And start to bend the knees up in toward the chest and hug them in. Already you're in an inversion as the feet and the knees, all this actually, the legs are above the heart. Just relax, breathe. You can massage the spine by moving side to side. And go ahead and kick those feet up into the air for our waterfall. Lots of energy flowing through the feet. Try to stay strong. Envision the energy flowing out through the soles of the feet while they're flexed. Helps keep them nice and sturdy. Keep breathing. And if ever you want a relaxing version of this, it's very healthy for you. You can go sit up close to a wall and relax the legs on the wall. It'll be a little less energy for you. Okay, go ahead and bend the knees. I left y'all up there for a while. And then we're going to come into happy baby. So you grab the outside edges of the feet and then bring the feet still flexed up toward the ceiling. And you can rock side to side, knees out kind of wide, depending on how flexible you feel. Relax. Another easy inversion for you. Keep breathing. Couple more breaths. You're going to slowly come to stillness, and then you can just bend the knees in toward the chest, relax, maybe move the knees around a little bit. And then we're going to do an inverted stretch. So this is upside down pigeon. You can actually first plant your left leg down, sole of the foot on the ground, kind of close to the body, and then with the right ankle, just cross it over the left knee. If this is already a nice stretch for you, you can just stay right here. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, start to pick up that left leg. You can even pull it in a little bit and keep breathing. Just relax and stretch. All right, let's go ahead and switch it out. Planting that right leg down this time, bringing the left knee up and crossing the ankle over the knee. And when you're ready, if this is good stretch, stay here, a little more. Bring that knee up, and each side might be different. So pay attention, don't push yourself too hard. We'll pull that knee in a little bit if you want to. Or set it back if it becomes too much. Just pay attention to what you need. Take slow, steady breaths into the stretch. Relaxing. All right, go ahead and plant both feet on the ground. And we'll bring the knees up just one more time, this time both knees. Okay, not just one more time. It'll be several more times. I don't know why I keep saying that. Rock side to side. And plant the feet down again. Now we're going to come into bridge. And I think last time I showed you how you can start practicing for wheel. We're going to do that again, but first let's get into our bridge. So feet are very close to the body. I can touch them with my fingertips, and then I lift the hips up. I squeeze the shoulder blades together to lift my chest up, pressing into the mat with my hands. And breathe. Couple breaths in and out. And you can go lower the hips down and bring the knees in. Again, I did one kind of inversion as we lifted the hips above the heart, but now I'm doing another inversion to counterbalance that and relax the lower back. Take a breath. All right, now we're gonna start teasing with coming into wheel. It's not something you have to do, but you can start practicing it. If you're uncomfortable with it, you don't feel like it, you can come into another bridge. But all you gotta do is you take your hands and you flip them so that your fingertips are pointed back towards your shoulders. Oops, my mat is curling up. There we go. And then once you got that, and I'm not gonna come up into a full wheel myself because I'm still kind of getting myself back into the big back bends after injuries in December. So push those hips up, lift the chest, and if you want to, you can start to roll up a little bit. Only go as far as you feel comfortable with. Make sure you watch out for your neck. Pushing into the mat with your arms. It's going to take more core strength, though, than arm strength. So don't be fooled. If you feel shaky in your arms, it's okay. It's going to come more from the core. All right, go ahead and lower down whichever pose you were doing. And bring those knees back in to undo that. And roll the knees around a little bit, massaging that spine, relaxing in. Then we'll come into a little bit of a twist. So take the knees over to one side and let it rest for a second. We'll take a few breaths. Knees going one way, your gaze going the opposite direction. Arms are out to a T. And just breathe. If you feel like this is too much of a stretch, for me, I have my legs swinging to the left side. And if I were to want to loosen up, or not loosen up, but not be in such a twist, I would take my right arm up a little bit to relax the twist. Whether if I wanted a bigger twist, I would take the top leg off, my right leg off, and stretch it out. Just options for you. All right, go ahead and bring it back to center. Relaxing into the mat for a second. Let the spine settle first. And then go ahead and take the knees over the other direction. And relax. And this side might be different from the other, so pay attention if you need to come up off your shoulder a little bit or you want to stretch the leg out. That's up to you. And keep breathing, feeling the stretch, feeling the twist. Couple more breaths. All right, go ahead and bring those knees back up to center. And spine into the mat, relaxing in for a second. And then we're going to come back into our waterfall pose. If your legs get too tired after a few seconds, you can bend them back in, no worries. But if you can, try to keep them nice and straight. Legs up tall, or legs up strong, feet flexed, energy flowing through those legs. Just a couple more breaths. All right, go ahead and bend them back in one more time. One more time for real. Hug them in really. And then if you want to, you can take a big inhale and exhale, forehead to the knees. And then relax it back down. Take those feet up again. And this time we're going to lower down into Shavasana. So keep them nice and strong. Try to go slow as you can, getting just a little bit of core work. Still breathing as you go. Take your time lowering, staying strong. Lots of energy flowing through the legs, out through the feet. Almost there. All right, then once you get there, start to relax everything. We'll be here for just a few minutes, but time. Take maybe another big inhale breath. Exhale it out. Then start to check in on the body. Let the forehead be relaxed, the jaw unclenched, the shoulders relaxed down into the mat. Both your arms are heavy, your legs are heavy, body's heavy. Into the mat. And start to relax the mind, choosing your point of focus, being present now, finding your joy, being at peace. We'll be here for a few more minutes, so just relax and I'll call you back once it's time. Okay, start to deepen that inhale again. Let it out. You can maybe move your hands and feet around, circling the wrists and ankles a little bit and coming into a full body stretch. And relaxing down into the mat as you bend the knees up. And slowly roll up into a seated position. Once you get, make sure the shoulders are relaxed down again. Neck is at neutral, back is straight. Take a nice big inhale in. Exhale it out. Do that again. Slow, deep inhale. Take your time with it. And then release. Next inhale, bring the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and down to heart center. Glad you were able to join me for practice today. I hope it helped you practice your inversions a little bit more, challenging yourself a little bit. Next week, we will play with a few new poses, so I'm excited about that. Until then, namaste. All right, thank y'all again. Again, if you can subscribe if you haven't already, give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Also, I am teaching meditation classes now. I've already taught one. My next one will be week after next, the 22nd. So I hope you enjoy those as well. And until then, bye.